And today we're going to read Mr. Seahorse, by Eric Carle. Here it comes. See? These are baby seahorses. Mr. Seahorse and Mrs. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea. Mrs. Seahorse began to wiggle and twist this way and that. It's time for me to lay my eggs, she said. Can I help? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Oh, yes, thank you, said Mr. Seahorse. And she laid her egg into a pouch on Mr. Seahorse's belly. I'll take good care of your eggs, said Mrs. Seahorse. I promise. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by a group of trumpet fish hidden behind reeds. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Stickleback? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Delighted. No. How are you, Mr. Stickleback? Says Mrs. Seahorse. Delighted, replied Stickleback. Mrs. Stickleback laid her eggs into it. Now I'm taking good care of them until they hatch. Keep on the good work, said Mr. Seahorse, and swam on his way. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by a lionfish hidden behind the coral reef. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Tilapia? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Mr. Tilapia cannot answer. His mouth is full of eggs. Now you are taking good care of them until they hatch. Mr. Tilapia nodded his head. Now you must be very happy, said Mr. Seahorse, and swam on his way. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by a pair of relief fish hidden behind the seaweed. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you doing, Mr. Cactus? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Perfectly fine, replied Mr. Cactus. Mrs. Cactus laid her eggs, and I have stuck them on my head. Now I'm taking good care of them until they hatch. Now you are doing good job, said Mr. Seahorse and swam away. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed by a stonefish hidden behind the rock. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Pipe? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Couldn't be better, replied Mr. Pipe. Mrs. Pipe laid her eggs on my belly. Now I'm taking good care of them until they hatch. You should feel proud of yourself, said Mr. Seahorse, and swam away. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Bullhead? Asked Mr. Seahorse. How are you, Mr. Bullhead? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Tip top, replied Mr. Bullhead. Mrs. Bullhead laid her eggs, and her eggs hatched. Now I'm babysitting. You are doing a fine job, asked Mr. Seahorse, and swam on his way. The time had come for the babies to be born. Mr. Seahorse wiggled and twisted this way and that. At last, the babies tumbled from Mr. Seahorse's pouch and swam away. One baby turned around and turned to come back into the pouch. Oh no, said Mr. Seahorse. I do need love. I do love you. But now you are ready to be on your own. The end. Thank you for coming. Bye.